I want to first of all just begin by thanking everyone at Strathmore for hosting us today in this incredible facility. Let's give them a big round of applause. It's beautiful. Thank you very much. I want to thank our presiding officers for joining us, along with County Executive Leggett, Metro General Manager Paul Wiedefeld, and all of the distinguished guests and elected officials and other dignitaries who have joined us today, community leaders and business leaders. As Chris Shank said, we're here to sign a number of historic landmark measures which will provide critical funding for Metro and also help us to potentially attract Amazon's new HQ2 headquarters to Maryland. We were the first ones in the region to propose a real solution to address Metro's $500 million a year shortfall. And the legislation that we're signing into law today marks the first time in history that Metro has ever had a dedicated source of funding. Maryland will be providing an increased contribution of $167 million more per year to keep Metro operating. My original proposal was a four-way split between Maryland, Virginia, D.C., and the federal government, which would mean a $125 million investment from each of the four partners. Unfortunately, despite the fact that more than 40% of the people who ride Metro are federal employees, so far the federal government has failed to provide increased federal funding. So instead, we worked together with Virginia and the District of Columbia to step up and take even further funding actions without the help of the feds, and we're now in agreement on splitting the $500 million annual shortfall three ways instead of four so that we can keep Metro operational. I want to thank Senator Brian Feldman and Delegate Mark Corman and legislators on both sides of the aisle in both houses for working with us to get this done. Today, we're also signing legislation that puts our state in prime position to attract Amazon's new headquarters. This is the biggest economic development opportunity in a generation, perhaps in our lifetime, and it could generate more than 101,000 jobs for Maryland and would have an economic impact of over $17 billion per year to our state economy. So I want to thank Senator Nancy King and Delegate Ann Kaiser. I want to thank County Executive Leggett, the Montgomery County delegation, our Chief Legislative Officer, Chris Shank, and our legislative team, along with Secretary Mike Gill and his team at the Maryland Department of Commerce, and legislators, again, on both sides of the aisle for coming together. I want to thank them for all their hard work and for their collaboration to make this possible. With the enactment of these pieces of legislation today, I think that we're sending a very clear message that we can work together in a bipartisan fashion to deliver real results both for Maryland and for the greater Washington metro area. So thank you all so much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you all in just a few minutes. Thank you. Senate President Mike Miller.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you. First of all, thank everybody for being here. I'm honored to be here. Ike Leggett came to see me about Amazon, and I said, you don't need to convince me. My wife grew up 2 blocks from here her whole life. You know, before I'd take her home, I'd stop off at Cedar Lane, right around the corner. And we wanted to go shopping. We'd go to White Flint. You know, I know the area well, I know the traffic patterns, and this is an ideal spot for Amazon, honestly and truly. It's an economic engine, Montgomery County is, and to add those 50,000 jobs is just a win-win for everybody. And I want to particularly thank the legislators from the Baltimore region that recognize that this is a win-win for the entire state. So people came from the Eastern Shore, Western Maryland, Republicans and Democrats to make this happen. Governor, thank you for your leadership. But most of all, a dynamic leader, Ike Leggett, County Executive. Ike Leggett, wouldn't have happened without you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And as far as Metro, we have so many people to thank for that. Honestly and truly, it was a long, drawn-out battle Governor Terry McAuliffe from Virginia, Governor Northam in Virginia, Mayor Bowser from Washington, D.C. I met with her this summer, and she said, well, where are you going to get the funding? Where are you going to get the funding? And she said, we can't have any anti-union language. And I said, well, there won't be any anti-union language, but there's going to have to be some concessions made. There's no question, because Virginia's got to come first. Virginia, Maryland, and then D.C. So she agreed to this without any plan on how to come up with the money. I mean, it was a commitment she made, and we had to follow what was happening in Virginia, the Virginia legislators. And fortunately, some courageous people came together and morphed the opposition down to small segments so that it's livable and doable. Okay. Also, people that came and helped us. Metro Now, which was a segment of the Washington Board of Trade, they came and worked with us. Steve Proctor lobbied us over and over again, came to see us. Bob Flanagan, Clark Construction, part of the federal partnership, he would come over and over and again, meeting with us. And then organized labor. We met with them, and of course, they were talking about jobs. You need to save our jobs. You need to save our jobs. And of course, we're saving our jobs, and we did save their jobs, but there has to be concessions on the part of management and business. And Mr. Weidenfeld is doing a great job, and he's going to make that happen. They're going to come under a cap, and people are going to have to recognize, just like there were concessions on the part of everybody to make this happen. Mayor Bowser, you need $179 million. Where are you going to get it? Well, I got to raise taxes, okay? This is a tough thing for her to do. Virginia Republicans said, look, we don't like this. You know, we're in the southern part of the state. We don't need this in the northern part. We don't, but they made concessions, and they made this happen. And, of course, Governor Hogan, he doesn't like to spend $10 million, much less $167 million. But, and, of course, he made a commitment for $150 million for 4 years. And what we wound up with was $167 ad infinitum. Okay, so there's been concessions all around. But most of all, we want to thank you, the public, for supporting us and helping make this happen. It's a win-win for Montgomery County. It's a win-win for the state of Maryland. And it's a win-win for each and every one of us who's here today celebrating these two great achievements. Thank you, and God bless you. It's a privilege and honor to be here.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here. Last time I was here, listened to a great performance. Can I ask all the legislators from Montgomery and Frederick and everywhere else around the state, stand up a second. I mean, these are the individuals that made it happen. Mark Corman in the House, I can't say enough good things about his advocacy for WMATA. He came in, and we originally were looking for $147 million. We raised it to $150 million. When he came back to the Senate, it had $167 million in it. And I said, Mark, is that okay with you? He said, yes, that's plenty good enough. So, but Mark did a great job, as well as everybody else from the Montgomery County delegation. WMATA also helps Prince George's, Frederick, and everyone else get back and forth to the workplace. And as we tell everybody in the state, you know, the better off Montgomery and the Washington suburbs are, the better off everybody else is. You know, we fund transportation, we gain jobs in Montgomery County, we get more money to put into schools and public safety in Baltimore City and other areas of the state. You know, we try to bring everybody together. From the Amazon standpoint, Ann Kaiser did a phenomenal job in the House side. I can't tell you how well she navigated the entire situation, has done a wonderful job. And stand up with a second. She's the chairman of Ways and Means. But working with the Senate, Brian Feldman, and Senator Madaleno, everyone else, they've done a wonderful job here. And we're just an extension of that. And I hope everybody here is appreciative of the fact of the investment that the individual legislators, not only from this county but across the state, made in making these initiatives take place. And I want to thank the governor for working with us, and I want to thank the county executive for having the vision to come down and make this work for Montgomery County. Montgomery County succeeds, the rest of the state succeeds, Prince George's succeeds. We all do well together. Thank you very much.
I hope that you get an opportunity to just look around this beautiful hall. It is really remarkable. But this governor was also a joint investment of the state and the county and the private sector, and it has paid off very well. One of the things you can keep in mind, that when we make a request for resources to help Montgomery County, we will deliver and we will make it work. And if you go back historically and look at all of the projects that we've asked for, they have worked and worked well, not only for Montgomery County, but for the state of Maryland. Let me acknowledge and thank the governor, because on both of these major projects, you were there, your team, Mike Gill, working with us day in and day out. And the commitment, the hard work for a large number of people helped make this possible. Tim Feinstein and the entire team working with the governor's staff, I think did a wonderful job. The Economic Development Corporation of Montgomery County as well. But let me thank our legislators. Let me thank you for hard work. Our chairs, the delegation, the Senate, Nancy King, Shane Robinson, thank you very much for your work. Ann Kaiser, again, thank you. And for Metro All Things, Mark Carmen, thank you so very much, and Mike Feldman, Senator Feldman as well. All of you provided great leadership for us. Nancy King was there from day one, fighting for this project, and thank you. But this project is about all of Maryland. It's about the wonderful things that we can deliver. In my conversation very early in the process, Governor, I said to you that this is a project worth the entire state effort to get behind. I talked, as you heard earlier, to our delegation chairs. I talked to the presiding officers. They were behind this project from day one. But when I talked to you, I said, I think for us to get this project, we're going to have to go big or go home. And I was not prepared to go home. And so we are not at home. We're not there at the finish line, but we are in a very strong competitive position, and we are there for all the right reasons. This is good for Montgomery County, but more importantly, it is good for the state of Maryland. Remind you that Montgomery County is the economic engine for the state of Maryland, and we will deliver. Come Amazon, come Metro, all work together for the great state of Maryland. Now, let me introduce a couple of other people who are here, the members of our local team, our county council members who are here, Nancy Florine, our chair, president, Hans Riemer, and all of the members of the county council. Let's give them a round of applause. Because all of that trash talk that I was talking about, Montgomery County stepping forward, I am signing a big check, and they're going to have to cash it. So. Paul Weatherfield, please come forward.
Afternoon, I'll be very brief. I got a lot of money to spend. I got to get to work. But I just wanted to thank, obviously, the leadership at the governor, the president, and the speaker for what you did, and obviously Delegate Corman and Senator Feldman for what they did. What I hear from our customers is one thing. They want it safe and reliable, and they want it now. And these dollars allow us to get there, and we have a plan to do it, and you'll start to see that roll out, and we're going to get this thing back to where we all want it to be, where we're very proud of it. I know our employees are thrilled that we are moving this direction. Took a lot of effort. It's been 40 years we've been talking about this, but we're finally there. So thank you all for what you've done for us.
Okay, if I could invite the governor and presiding officers up here. It's time to sign some legislation. The first bill that we're going to sign this afternoon, Senate Bill 877, Promoting Extraordinary Innovation in Maryland's Economy, the PRIME Act. Again, if you could start to assemble right in this area, if you'd like to be in the picture. We're going to move the podium out of the way so we can get everybody in. And again, a reminder, please be careful that you don't fall off the back.
As soon as he unplugs it. So what do you want to do? So pull that up, and pull it up and out of the way.
Our next piece of legislation, Senate Bill 277, House Bill 372, Maryland Metro Transit Funding Act. You need to do two. We can. You think you got it? Okay. Oops.
I'd say if anything, if we could just move it this way, it'll keep people from walking right here.
We're almost done. Yeah, yeah.
I'm just-
After this, we're
I'm gonna guard this little area.
okay. That's fine.
Sure.
Next bill, Senate Bill 279, House Bill 370, Metro Board Member Act. There won't be anybody for the next one. That's just a corrected bill. And then that's it.
Who are you kidding? It'll never be free. Come on.
Liability. Oh, you mean me?
279 and 370.
Yeah, we're just okay.
One, just two more. Final bill for this afternoon, Senate Bill 494, House Bill 533, Washington Metropolitan Area Transit Authority Compact. Oh, are they messed up? Did I chapter it wrong?
As long as they have a document to sign, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our bill signing for this afternoon. Thank you again very much for attending. Thank you, Strathmore, for hosting. Again, inviting everyone out in the atrium for refreshments. All right. Good job.